shot. My bad.
You gotta dive.
Okay. Form flaw that you had mentioned earlier about the side window.
Just stand here so I can use my hands. Okay. Be my mic stand for just a second. Let me get away from my chair here. So here's the thing. How many people in here, show of hands, have a problem with their dog freezing and it looks like someone is on their hand down as you try to get it up. The more it stays down at the bottom.
Dude, that was pathetic.
So yeah, it's all right. It's the same thing. So all of you guys have watched a guy set up a release aid and pull the bow back to full draw, okay? So watch this. They get set up with their bow and they get their hand in and everything is great and they get ready to shoot and they go like this with the back shoulder and then pick the bow up and draw back. And what happens is that shoulder blade is this high, okay? Because they started off like this and they pick their bow up, they pull back. Now that looks pretty normal there, right? But when I drop my arm, it's here, where your back shoulder really should be here. So what's happening is when you pick that back shoulder up and draw the bow back, you create a downward angle. And when you begin pulling on the bow, that pushes the sight down out of the target. So this arm is picking up, this side is pushing down, so that's that fictitious person standing over there holding your arm down. You're like, I just can't understand why this isn't working. So if you just take one more step, you can't do this with a recurve, but with a compound, if you draw the bow back, and then just as you're coming to your face, drop the back shoulder and then anchor, that'll actually support the sight in the middle. I warn you that if you run out there tomorrow and do that, you're gonna go, oh my God, because it's gonna be sticking way up there, and you may have made adjustments to your stabilizers and all to hold it up in the bullseye. But that's what it is. When your sight picture freezes at the bottom or just falls and stays, that's the back shoulder is sticking up like this. So the next person you see pull your bow back, pull their bow back, you'll see, and then like this. And that tiny little thing is like major to keep to just actually putting the dot in the middle, watching it stay in the middle while you wait for the release to go off. Okay.
Touching on that too real quick before we get away.
There's a follow-up question right there.
Okay.
I can't say that the opposite would be true. I'm not exactly sure what that would be. I don't have a good answer for that because I don't come into contact with that very often. I can't say I've hardly ever had somebody go, my sight keeps going up out of the top and I can't make it stop. You know, I've never had that.
Load your bow up. Put some weight on it.
Yeah, put some weight on the tip. Okay.
Also, following up on that real quick, I had a comment I wanted to see if you can answer the question for me too. You're drawing down on the target, say you go below the yellow, and then you come back up and center your dot or pin. Or the next time, you just come down from the top and stop on the center. Is your arrow going to hit a different location?
It's depending on how far down you go and how you get it back up. If you change your shape as you pick the dot back up into the middle, like pick that front arm up, yes, it will miss. But typically what I do, instead of sneaking up on the dot, I draw the bow back with the sight just a little bit above and just stick it in there, rather than sneaking up on it, bringing the sight in. It's almost there. Get ready. Here it comes. Okay, almost. You know when it gets there. Okay. So practice when you get the bow back to full draw, wherever it is. If it's a little off center or a little tall, just bring it right in. If you're doing the vertical 3-spot target, set up slightly above the top when it come in, slightly above the middle and come in, and slightly above the bottom and coming in, instead of way up here and coming down on every single one, because you'll get grip pressure changes as you fall down across the target. So your groups will be high in one and low in the other and a little high and right in the other. Okay?
Perfect. Just shows the importance of repetition.
Brandon, they've been patient back there.
Yes, ma'am. Red. Hinge style release, click or no click, we kind of touched on a little bit.
Yeah.
Want to cover it real quick again?
I like to shoot a click but I click the release immediately when I get to full draw, rather than aiming first and then clicking. I draw anchor, click, and then aim, and then go through the shot.
And then
I don't use a click because I don't like the bounce in my sight when it goes off, when it goes click. And so to me, I draw to a similar position so that it goes off in the same realm. You know, like I said earlier, with a hinge release, you may not know exactly when it's going to go off, but you have a realm of where it will go off. So to me, I just don't like the click because it takes too long in my aiming. It cuts that window down.
Their clicks are a little different.
Yeah, they let go.
Yes, sir. White hat. Good question. In the wind, do you adjust your windage or hold off?
everybody.
Recurve, aim off.
Throw
Only
the
aim
shot side to
off.
line.
Never move the windage because the wind's going to change. Probably going to be the same over here. So they might bubble instead of aim off, but.
Yeah, we always, you know, for us it's always aiming off, and the more you shoot in the wind, you know, the more you have to aim off. But, you know, I never like to move my sight because you know, most of the times it's never a calm when it's gusty, so you aim off here, but as soon as you get that calm arrow and you're like, yeah, I can shoot a 10 on this one, you don't got to worry about moving your sight back. You just draw up, put your sight right in the middle, boom, and go off, and it's going to hit there. You know, if you move your sight with the wind, you get that calm shot, you'll miss it out the other side, you know, it'll cost you a point or two. So I always just try to figure out the wind and make sure you're aiming off instead of moving your sight.
It depends on where I'm at, what venues. I'm doing the World Championships in 09 in Korea. I actually had some practice. We had an extra practice because I had a bye. I played with bubbling. I played with aiming off. And to me, it just depends on the wind as to what's going to be best for me. Because sometimes, you know, tipping a bow this way with a bubble, it fights the wind differently, and just being able to let it over and lead it off and aim off. I do a little bit of, I do give it a few clicks. I call it my safety clicks. Not a lot because I think it's really nice with the Excel sights that don't move it a lot. So I can give it a few clicks and I'll never leave the 10 ring, but it will give me that safety that if that gust comes up and hits me, I'm not totally off the target. Or, you know, I may catch a 10 instead of being a 9. You know, just, you know, I do that a lot, even just shooting. Like this weekend, I'll give it a few clicks just because I do something stupid. So.
In the past 3 years, I've been running an archery team out of my store, so my outdoor experience is watching their arrows hit the paper. But typically, we aim off because adjusting a sight suggests that the wind is always consistent and the same, and you can't make that decision and it actually stays the same. I typically tell my guys to let the other kid shoot first, so that you can see what his arrow does, and then make an educated decision as to what you're going to do next. Okay.
Get that kid in the green shirt back.
Yes, sir, young man. Good question. I think that deserves some apparel. The Olympics. What is it like shooting the Olympics, Jake?
I mean, it was a dream come true. You know, anything that you know, if you're thinking about going to the Olympics, it's you know, everything you can imagine. It's as exciting as you guys you know, can dream about or think about. I don't know if anybody out there gets chills when the national anthem plays, or you know, you watch a football game and the crowd's cheering or something. It's the same thing when you're shooting. It's surreal, and you know, it's something that I crave for and I want again. So I'm going to go for it again in 4 years, and hopefully another 4 and 4 and 4 and keep going. So yeah, it's definitely a dream come true. It's great.
Yeah, the games are something, they're special. You know, they only happen every 4 years. It's the only time the whole entire world comes together and watches one event, and every athlete there has the same goal, and that's to represent their country and to win a gold medal. And to be a part of something like that is huge. And, you know, just even sitting up here talking to you guys about being in the games and, you know, what it's like being there and stuff, I mean, I get chills. Like, you know, you want to tear up at times because what it means, you know, when you walk out there with your team, which, you know, I felt bad for Jake who wasn't able to do this games because of our schedule. When you walk out with your team on opening ceremony and it's Team USA, and you're standing next to Jason Kidd and the guy that's going to go win a track medal, and the swimmers, like, you're one team, everyone's equal, you know, you're there as an Olympian, and that's Team USA. And it's an amazing, incredible feeling to be able to go out there and do that, and to represent your country and your sport. And I mean, it's huge. It's hard to even describe or put into words the emotions that go into the Olympics. I mean, it really is.